ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਖਾਸ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਆਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਖਾਸ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਸ਼ਖਸੀਅਤ, ਇੱਕ ਐਸੇ ਸੇਵਾ, ਇੱਕ ਐਸਾ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾ ਜੀਵਨ USA ਤੋਂ। We're very, very privileged and honored that we have with us today ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰਜੋਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ। ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। We welcome you to this episode of Khaas Mulakaat.
Thank you.
At Sangha Television, and we are very grateful you're sharing a few moments of your trip to the UK with us and sharing your views and thoughts on this show with our viewers.
Yes, my pleasure. Yeah.
Gurjot Singh, before we start, just a brief memory lane. Your family life up to now,
Yeah.
as a role, as a son, as parents, where you were born. So if you could just share that with our viewers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm American, as you can probably tell from my accent, and a lot of people, when I come to these camps, they ask me, how did you get into Sikhism? And I tell them I was born into Sikhism just like you. And they're usually very surprised by that because they think Gora Sikh, he had to have converted. But that's not the case. So it's actually Yogi Ji, Yogi Siri Singh Sahib, Bhai Sahib Harbhajan Singh Khalsa Yogi Ji. He started teaching yoga and Sikhism in conjunction in around 1969. I was born in 1982. So there's plenty of time between that for people to get married, have kids. And so my parents were the ones who converted. My mother was from a Catholic family, and my father's family, they were not religious really. So, but they both fell in love with yoga. They started practicing yoga, meditating, and getting a spiritual experience that they never had in their life before that. And finding out what is this inner self? What is this experience of the higher self and the inner self? And as we say in Sikhi, the Atma, the soul.
Sure.
So from that, it's just Sikhi gives you such a depth of knowledge, such a depth of relationship to a guru, that you can just dive yourself into that and give yourself to that. And so many people, and especially in the 60s, 70s, were looking for that place of devotion that they could give themselves to. So yeah, I was born into Sikhi, and I was born, and raised doing yoga as well, so
Okay.
both of them together.
Sure.
Yeah. And I was born and raised in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a very small town. Most people haven't heard of it except Bugs Bunny mentions it one time in a cartoon.
Okay.
And New Mexico is a huge state. It's part of the United States. Don't make that mistake. It's not Mexico.
It's not Mexico.
New Mexico.
Sure.
And it's a very quiet place. And now I have moved to Espanola, which is the quiet place. And in Albuquerque, when I was growing up, there was only a couple of Sikh families there, and we all lived pretty close together. So one block away was a family, and then another block away was another family of African American Sikhs that had also joined Sikhism, and they were twins, and I'm also a twin. So we had kind of this funny thing where there was very few people, but two sets of twins.
Right.
And we were friends from a really young age. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
So your twin brother was born as a Sikh as well.
Yeah. My twin brother, coincidentally, he was invited to some Sikhi camps in the north, up in Newcastle and Bradford.
Sure.
So we overlapped in the UK for about 2 days, but we didn't see each other.
Right.
And I've been in the Midlands the whole time.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Guru Singh, you grew up as a Sikh child in the US. Upbringing, as Sikhs, we born and brought up, and then going into Sikhi with Amrit and as Gursikhi Parwars. When did you do that? When did you get baptized? And
so I received Amrit when I was about 18.
Okay.
But I started trying to live the Amritari lifestyle when I was about 16, 17.
Right. Okay.
So I think at least a year I tried to read all my banis
Sure.
and keep up with the Rat before I tried to receive the Amrit.
Sure.
Amrit. But I think we shouldn't try to we shouldn't look at other people and be like, oh, is he Amritari? Is he not
No.
Amritari?
No.
It's really such a personal connection that you have with your own guru.
Yeah. And again, I think so it's the blessing of Guru Maharaj when the time comes.
Yes.
You get the Amritdhat, isn't it? Because you see some people are 6-7 years old, some even at the age of 60-70 get them. So, but everybody is a Sikh from in heart, whichever way he is. That's my belief. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did feel when it was my time to take Amrit that I felt that there was kind of no other choice. That was just I have to go this direction.
Sure.
I'm meant to do that.
Yeah.
The Guru was pulling me to do that.
Sure.
And so really we don't have a choice.
No. Yeah.
And I want to maybe give some insight as well into this whole subject of were you converted into Sikhi or were you born into Sikhi? So, in reality, our souls chose to become a Sikh before you were born. You already made that agreement. You already had that karma. So whether or not I was born into a white family or a Punjabi family, or I was born as a Sikh or not, at some point, if I wasn't born as a Sikh, I would have found it. If I was born as a Sikh, then I was blessed and it made it easier.
Sure.
This is all like things that your soul decided on before you even were born.
Sure.
So.
You see, we were talking of the basics of how we've go through our lifespan into Sikhi, and as we mature, as we grow adults, we go more deeper into things, and you mature as a human being, as an adult, you learn a lot, and you learn from other parts of the Sevadars and colleagues and Mahaprabhu you come across in life who teach you a lot of things about the religion, about Sikhism. You have done a very big thing, which my personal opinion, with age nowadays, with everybody has gone worldwide, it's all internet, everything's on the net, the world has become too small, and I think so credit to where we should give to all the youngsters and people like yourself who have taken that on board and set up the SikhNet, one of the biggest institutes on the net of Sikhi at the moment in the world. Just share how this idea came, why you did it, what was the reason behind it. If you can just in brief share the basic concept of what SikhNet's mission is.
Yeah. So just to be clear, I'm not one of the founders of SikhNet. I've been working there for several years, about 8 years or so. But really, it's been going for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And it was started by Guru Mustak Singh and Guru Kha Singh. As it started as a hobby, as a love project, just to share information, and the internet was very new. And it just started as a really cozy group of people, of Sikhs that were sharing information with each other. And it went on like that for several years, and then Guru Mustak basically had to decide, should I and can I take this on full time as and devote my entire time to this, and get funding and make it professional and do all this stuff, as opposed to just a side project after work or whatever. So he took that leap, he got it incorporated, and Guru's grace, the Sanghat has been supporting SikhNet from day one until today. It's mostly funded by single donations from the users who visit the website. And sometimes I lose track of that fact, but when I remember that, it's quite amazing if you think about it, how many hundreds of people are just giving their a few dollars, a few pounds or whatever, because they enjoy a website so much, and it's a blessing. And we have so many plans and so many things that we want to do, and we would love to hire more staff and do so many projects, and but we just do what we can, and we do whatever we're called to do and whatever the Sanghat asks us for.
If you browse through the net, your website, there's a lot of things. You have the latest news, the events, a lot of things which reflect in our day-to-day life. Yeah. With viewership. I think it's worldwide. It is the most known website of Sikhi, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, SikhNet is the biggest Sikh website as far as traffic and content. The biggest Sikh website online.
Online, yeah.
If I could share just a couple of
yeah,
things
sure.
that we have is our biggest service, our most popular service is the daily Hukamnama from the Darbar Sahib Sri Harimandir Sahib in Amritsar, and we basically they post it up on the SGPC's website. We reformat it so you can read it in your own fonts, and we also deliver it to your inbox if you subscribe to the email. And that's our biggest service. Then we have the Gurbani Media Center, which is the biggest archive of Gurbani online, and it's user generated, it's crowdsourced, so anybody can upload Gurbani, and so it's just grown since we started that. It just keeps growing. And that's a really big one. You can make your own playlist. You can listen to any artist, any Gurbani track that you want, and the radio as well. You could just, if it's too much hassle to search around and browse for your artists and things, you just hit play on the radio and it just plays, you know. So that's a really kind of user-friendly way to do it. Then the next biggest service we have would be the news, the daily news. We scour the internet for anything Sikh-related news. We post that up. We select the things that, and our policy with the news is good news, goodwill.
Sure.
So we try to stay away from controversy and negativity and just anything that doesn't help you, doesn't improve your life. We try to stick with everything positive and everything that is not divisive, things that are unifying to the Panth, to the Sangat.
Sure.
That's kind of our general policy at SikhNet, is good news, goodwill.
Definitely.
And then we do a lot of other things. We, you know, as far as content generation, we do create videos. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook page. We've created a lot of audio stories for children. We have over 100 of those, and those are very beautiful. And if you know, there's kids that we've heard from. They'll have a sleepover, and they'll fight over whose turn it is to choose which story to listen to. So the kids love them, and they're really they're really good. They're really entertaining as well as spiritual, and they have a lot of the history, the itihas of Sikh history. And there's a couple other projects I want to mention really fast.
Sure.
One is the animation we just launched this year. It's about my Bago. It's called Core, a story of courage and equality. And it's a story of a young girl, a modern girl, you know, like many of you who may be watching this. She's about 13, and starts getting a little bit bullied in school. And she's a smart person. She's intellectual, and she's into science. And it's kind of dominated by the boys, and they're kind of excluding her. But then, so she's getting very sad, but her grandmother tells her the story of my Bago. And then the story unfolds from there, and you have to watch it to see how it ends.
Sure.
But you can find that on YouTube, and you can find that on SikhNet as well. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is we made a video game as well that you can play online, and it's you basically go around and do seva for people, and you solve puzzles, and it's a really good game for kids, and I think for adults as well. We've had a lot of adults who said they loved the game. So it's called the Karma game.
Right.
It's Karma, the Ogre's Curse. So I just wanted to share a couple of the services that maybe some of the viewers you don't know about. Please go on to SikhNet and check them out, and tell your friends, and watch the videos, and watch the core film, because that's one that's very close to me, because I put a lot of time into that. It was kind of my project, so it was very fun to work on.
Good.
Yeah.
Very valid what you're talking about.
Yeah.
In the true times we are today, technology, media, everything is now IT, and it's very important to be in that ball game so that we can do the prachar, we can of our Sikhi, our itihas, and all the youngsters, because all they are now is linked to their phones, tablets, and computers, so they can see and watch whenever they feel like, and choose what they want to watch and see, so which is a very, very important thing as we move along with times.
Kids these days, they have access to the internet themselves. They're on the iPad, their mama, and they're swiping and tap, you know.
Guru Singh, if you would like to share, you must have traveled many times to India as well. Just share your India experience with our viewers, our younger viewers in this part of the world, who sometimes hesitate that, oh, we don't want to be going to India. If you can just share that.
Yeah.
Your first time when you went, where did you go? What did you do? What did you feel as a Sikh when you went to Punjab?
Yeah.
When you went to Harmandir Sahib, or you went to the Takhts?
So just some background is when I was 12, I started going to school in India, in Amritsar, because Sri Singh Sahib Yogi Ji, he created a school for all of anyone, but mainly his students and everyone who knew him closely would send their kids to that school. Of course, it was open enrollment for anybody, but it was quite an experience to go to India. As an American kid, I came out of a public middle school in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and went to India. It's just like this unheard of thing. You tell people, and they're like, "You went where? And what was that like?" And most Americans, especially, don't travel out of the country. I know it's different in Europe. You've got to take a ferry, and you're in France. But Americans are very insular. They don't think beyond the California and New York.
Yeah.
we're very ethnocentric like that. So I think it's great for anybody, especially Americans, to travel to a different country, realize that there's a whole different world out there. But India is quite special, especially as a Sikh, especially in Amritsar. Our school is on the outskirts of Amritsar in a place called Guru Ki Wadali, and it's in kind of in the farm area, so it's very peaceful.
Okay.
And we were very disciplined. We had to do exercise, but we learned so much. We learned some Punjabi. I learned how to read Gurmukhi, so I can read all the part in Gurmukhi. We learned Kirtan. You had to choose from Kirtan or Tabla, or harmonium or Tabla.
Right.
We did save at the Golden Temple. What a blessing, We would go and wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. We take a bus over to the Golden Temple and do the Karma Seva. Okay. So I don't know if you haven't done it, it's actually a lot of fun, especially for kids. You grab these buckets and you go bring them over to someone who's standing in the sarovar, and they'll fill your buckets for you.
Okay.
You walk them over to some other guy he's spilling the buckets over, and it's like just this tremendous project, and they move very quickly down the parikrama, and it's a lot of fun. Then you drink cha afterwards and everything. Then we would come back, sleep for 2 hours, wake up, and start our physical training. Then we go through all the normal academic subjects like English, science, math, all that kind of stuff. And then in the evenings, then after school it's sports, gatka, yoga, and then the extracurriculars include kirtan and metal work and all kinds of things.
Okay.
So,
quite a vast range of things.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of the things that stands out to me from my India experience is, first of all, the Indian culture is very different, and that's really nice to be exposed to something different. But most of all, what I appreciate from being there was witnessing people who had a real seva mentality. That was something that I had never seen in my life before, coming from America. People who just lived for seva. It was amazing. You would see these really old people that go to the Golden Temple, and they would struggle just to bend over.
Sure.
But if they could just bend over, pick up a piece of lint off of the Guru's floor, and just do that little piece of seva. And just so many people, and they, it makes seva fun. It makes seva something that you want to do.
Sure.
When you see that example.
Sure.
You see, and there's a whole culture. And then the langar, we used to go and do some roti seva sometimes and roll out the chapatis in the langar hall at the Golden Temple.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the amazing project that is continuously going of the langar in Amritsar is amazing. And it's kind of undescribable, but it's something that you learn by watching and being in that environment. that you can't get otherwise, and you don't see it. You don't see it in the normal American culture. And I think you guys are fortunate in Britain to have so many Sikhs that you do have, you go to a Gurdwara, you do see that mentality, you do see that culture.
Sure.
It's quite beautiful. It's very inspiring for me to come visit and see that.
Sure. But Gurjot Singh, if we were talking about Guru Harmandir Sahib, what a privilege it is for a Sikh when he's there, when you're doing seva, how much honored and blessed you feel that God, Guru Ramdas Ji, has given you this opportunity to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what to add to that. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. We're very fortunate to go there.
Sure.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And you go take a dip in the water, and it's written in Gurbani that what that water does for you. It's Ramdas Sarovar Nate, Sabu Tere Paap Kamate. It takes away all of your mistakes.
Bilkul.
I mean, what a beautiful blessing.
Bilkul. So, did you feel when you were in Amritsar and you studied there, you enjoyed that time? Was it very memorable? Any other achievements in that time as a child, as you were growing up? What was the key? Where else did you go? Did you go to any of the other Takht Sahibs?
We traveled a lot. We did a lot of Nagar Kirtans.
Okay.
And we would do Gatka and Kirtan, and we would travel to different Gurdwaras in the Punjab.
Right, okay.
And we would meet with up with the Nihangs. We'd go to Hariam Vela with that's Baba Nihal Singh Ji's village. And so many other places that honestly, when I was young, I didn't pay attention to the names, but I've been to so many places in the Punjab that I can't even tell you because I don't remember the names.
Okay.
Now I'm older, I would be paying more attention and remembering the history related to those places.
Sure.
Back then it was like, we're going on a Nagar Kirtan. I was like, okay, sounds fun. Those were great. The Nagar Kirtans are great.
Yes.
It's the spirit. You're on a truck, you're on a bus, on the roof, and there's people throwing oranges up to you and laddus and just the seva spirit, the spirit of giving.
It is amazing.
You give to people even when they don't want you to. You're like, no, and they're like, you have to eat it. And they put up, you'll be driving, they'll put up ropes to stop your vehicle. You have to come and have langar.
Yes.
And give us the blessing of your company and your sangat, so we give you langar. And the Sikh spirit is so fun. It's so fun when you go there and you partake in that.
Sure. And you look how blessed we are as well that you drive when you go to Anandpur Sahib at Hola Mahalla. Every probably a mile you stopped begging you to have langar, have a drink, have a tea. It's such a big blessing. Guru Nanak Ji Maharaj with the langar of 20 rupees when they did the langar to the sadhus, and today all over the world Guru Ka Langar is a blessing to all the communities, everybody.
So some of the places that I do know I visit, Anandpur Sahib, Keshkar Sahib, Hemkund Sahib, I think I've gone twice. Gondwal Sahib, Khadur Sahib. Those are some of the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. I'm sure we went to some of the other ones as well.
So you've been in the UK now recently, you're in the UK too. What is the objective of yourself in the UK? What have you been doing? What have you been involved with while you've been in the UK at the moment?
So I've been to the UK once before to visit friends and things. This trip that I came, I was actually invited and sponsored by the GNA, the youth camps that are run by Gyani Sukha Singh. They invited me out to come and teach. So I've been here a little more than 2 weeks, and I was teaching, or I was participating mostly in the camps, teaching a little bit. Stratford Road camp, West Bromwich camp. I attended both of those camps, and then yesterday I had a little time, so I went to the Baba Deep Singh camp. What was that? I couldn't read that.
Just got it.
Okay. So it's being edited, right? I can start over. Okay. So I participated in the Stratford Road camp and the West Bromwich camp I was there for the whole time, the whole week. Each one is a week long. And then yesterday I had some time, so I dropped in on the Baba Deep Singh camp and taught a class as well. And it's really lovely. I love the kids and the spirit and everything. Gyani ji does such a good job, and he really instills the spirit of Sikhi into kids of any age, and it's really amazing to watch. It's a really beautiful thing, and the kids are so beautiful. You know, some of them they're coming up asking me, "Can I do any seva for you?" And I had my camera with me. Some of the kids they would pack my camera up for me and bring it with me wherever I went. You know, it was just like I didn't have to ask them. Wasn't planning on asking anyone.
Sure.
People are so sweet and so serviceful, and they really relate to the martyrs of Sikh history, Bhai Taru Singh and the Chote Sahibzade and all the ones that Gyani ji mentions to them. They really take it to heart, and it means something very deeply for them, and makes them really attach themselves to Sikhism at a young age.
Sure.
And the spirit of it is just, it's very uplifting, it's very beautiful.
And it's also nice to kids to understand from grassroots, you know, I mean, the history of what we are and what our gurus have done for us is very, very important.
Yeah.
Guru Singh, with SikhNet, which you are very heavily involved, what is the plans for the future? What is different is happening? What are you guys looking at? What else you're going to bring in new, so that our viewers can also check out the website and get linked to it, and utilize it and benefit from it. Yeah.
SikhNet, you know, we're always just kind of trying. If sometimes it feels like we're just trying to paddle above the water. You know, there's so much that we want to do, and we only have a few people. We only have 5 people working there, and it was only 4 until a year and a half ago or so. People think we're like this big corporation.
That's what I thought first.
Because we're very famous and everyone knows about us and everything.
Yeah.
It was
only
just 4 people in an office for a while. Now it's 5, and so we just try to maintain basically what we're doing. That's mainly what we do, and what we want to do is expand and do more and do more. And we've got so many ideas and we've had so many suggestions from everyone, and it's just a matter of being able to do it. So one part of it is getting more funding. Another part of it is if we can become more efficient as well. So we're working on that.
Sure.
We're trying to work on both of those things.
Sure.
And one major thing that we want to do this year, or towards the end of this year, maybe next year, is a complete site redesign. We really need to do that just to make the website mobile friendly. And we have so much content that just gets buried. We publish it and then it gets buried in an archive of pages that you have to flip through. So we want to make it so you can easily find all this content that we have presented to the Sangha through the website for years and years and years, for 20 years, you know. Archives and archives of news articles, and the Gurbani Media Center is so deep, and you have to drill in, you got to know what you're looking for. So we need to find a better way to present you with the information and keep it fresh.
Okay.
So it's a whole site redesign. It's a very big project that we're going to be working on.
Sure. That is good to know, but again, we would request all of our viewers, sare siane vi jehde han, please in the website sikhnet.com ਤੇ ਲੌਗ ਕਰਕੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ, ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਪੜੋ। ਇਹ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਪਿਛਲੇ 20 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੇ ਉਪਰਾਲੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਜੋ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਹਨ, ਧਾਰਮਿਕ ਕੀਰਤਨ, ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। It's also our duty to support it so that it can progress more, it can give you more, it can do a lot more as the team wants to do more and more in the media age, in the new age, through the net, so that the people, the youngsters, can get whatever they want from this website. Gurujot Singh, you've obviously live in America, you travel all around the world. Where do you see our Sikhi progressing in this part of the world, and then we'll move on to India?
I see Sikhi just growing and growing. And when I say growing, I don't mean in numbers.
Sure.
I mean in spirit.
Mhm.
And I think some people try to think of Sikhi in numbers. And what we've got to remember is Guru Gobind Singh was not into quantity. He was into quality.
Sure.
He's the ultimate testament to quality versus quantity.
Sure.
You know, the test he put the first pyada through. The first pyada, will you give your head? And then the test for the next pyada, he just saw someone else give their head. He knew he was gonna give up his life. And so they gave the ultimate sacrifice. That's not something everyone could do or anyone can do. That was just very few people have that amount of commitment.
Sure.
That's what a Sikh strives for, is to be completely committed to give your head. So it's that spirit that I see growing at these camps,
Sure.
and at samagams, and in the gurdwaras, and in the younger generation, the Nojawan. They're not interested in politics. They're not interested in running gurdwaras and making money.
No.
They're interested in Sikhi and what the Guru said and what the Gurus did and what the Bani, the power of the Bani is, and how we can use it, what it does for us. So I feel strongly that Sikhism is on the upswing. And there's so many issues we can point out, we can get sad about, and we can just debate them and say, oh, this is happening in the Gurdwara, and that's happening, and all this. You know, there's so many issues. But if you look on the positive side, it's overwhelmingly positive, in my opinion. We're in the prime. We're in the prime. We've never had 25 million Sikhs before.
Sure.
We've never been this populous. We've never been this successful. We've never had this much power. And whether or not we're united, whether or not we're using it, it's a matter of can we go to each other and confide in each other in the Guru's way? You know, can we look to each other and say, let's do Bani together, let's get strength from each other's Sangat, and let's just experience the Guru. Let's experience the Guru Shabad. I see that happening, and I think it's going to just get stronger and stronger.
Sure. Yeah, and it's also nice to see, because you guys, with the effort you do, become role models as well for the next generation who is upcoming, and seeing you in full Sikhi Swarup makes us feel very proud. You know what I mean? A Sikh is a Sikh, but an American Sikh, we've seen them when we are privileged to go to the Hola Mahalla. The commitment, the devotion and dedication I've seen. Sometimes we look into ourselves, we don't even have that. It's amazing to see them do so much seva, so much satkar, and it's a really big honor when you see all that. Your views on that?
I think if, you know, as an American Sikh, I understand what impact it has when, you know, because I spent so much time in India, 7 years basically. So many people have approached me and said, you know, we're so proud to see you in the Sikh Swarup, and it's so inspiring for us. And to me, I'm just being a Sikh and walking around on the street. I'm not trying to do something special. For them, it's something special because I have white skin, basically.
Sure.
When in fact I was born as a Sikh just like they were.
Yeah.
So I feel like while white Sikhs and while myself, it's a different approach that we can offer. It's a different perspective. Value yourself, you know, value your culture, and if you can get something from a different jete bande that you have, learn something from each one of them.
Sure.
Including the American Sikhs, we do have, or the white Sikhs from Europe or wherever they're from. We do have a different approach. We do have things to share, but where we have something to share, we might be missing something. Where you have the Punjabi culture has something to share,
Sure.
there might be something missing. So, you know, I do feel strongly that it's both of them together if you can get the good parts from both cultures, then you're kind of in the best position.
True.
And that's what they say Guru Nanak did. He took all the flowers and left all the thorns. So that's what we should do.
Yeah.
But don't denigrate yourself and don't denigrate your culture, because it's very, very beautiful. I can honestly tell you that the seva mentality the Punjabi culture has, the American white culture does not have that. Even in the Sikh community, we have a less of a seva culture than when I come to a Punjabi Gurdwara. The seva is out. It's amazing, you know. What white Sikhs, I would say, if we're going to generalize, what they excel in is a personal discipline, you know, doing Simran every morning. That's kind of where it came from. That's why people became Sikhs, because they started waking up in the Amrit Vela doing yoga and doing Bani and chanting Bani mantras like Waheguru Wahejio, experiencing it and all that stuff. So there you'll find that a lot of them are very more connected to just having their personal discipline, even if they don't know anything about Sikh history. They might not know anything. They might not do a lot of seva or whatever. Look for the positives and get those from other people. So I hope that addresses your question in some way.
Yes, it's important, I think so.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is just share your experience. And you know, we have our own experience when we see our baptized Sikhs and our Sikhs as yourselves do so much, and it sometimes shocks us, because we take it for granted sometimes that no, it's only us who are born as Sikhs and can carry on. But when you see the commitment and the devotion, dedication from other community Sikhs who have converted to Sikhism, it's really, really an eye-opener sometimes that we are sometimes thinking, no, we need to improve ourselves as well, because everybody needs to improve to go on the marg of what our gurus have taught us to do.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to share that I get impressed as well when I see some Punjabi Sikhs and I see their commitment and their dedication. I say, wow. So it's not about Punjabi or white or whatever. It's about, does that individual have the Sikh spirit? Whoever they are and whatever culture they're from, they will inspire others. You know, and I've been inspired by so many different Sikhs from different backgrounds.
Sure. And you know, I think so where we as Sikhs we don't appreciate that every institute, every Jathebandi, every Sikh flower in that big fulwari of Guru Maharaj is doing something in its own way. And the ultimate goal is the prachar of Sikhi. We need to appreciate that. We need to say, well done, you're doing very good. Do more. Motivate instead of criticize. Where we go wrong is we just straight away going into criticism of things. We have to understand as well that they have done a lot. Today we look at this website for the last 20 years has done a lot in this day and age of technology.
And I want to talk about that critical, when you see someone else and they're doing Sikhi wrong, we got to correct them, and they're, you know, we got to make it right. I think that kind of thinking is comes from a misunderstanding. It comes from an understanding that Sikhism is XYZ and it's nothing else. And if you don't do it right, then you are wrong. You're bad Sikh. Sikhism has always been very diverse. And actually, someone brought up a really cool analogy the other day to me. Guru Nanak spent 30, 40 years, something like that, with Mardana. By Mardana. And he never converted him to Sikhism. He stayed a Muslim the whole time. So, and if you look at Sikh history, the Guru Gobind Singh, he had Muslims, he had Hindus in his armies. And it wasn't about, you guys need to change, you guys need to adopt these rules, and then you'll be saved. Sikhi's never been about that. It's never been about this is the only right way and everything else is wrong. And so we've slipped into, honestly, we've slipped into a Christian or Islamic way of thinking that there's only one true path. And that's not what Guru Nanak said. That's not what Sikhi is about. And even amongst the Jathebandi, we think that there's only one right Jatha, there's only one right Rehet. But you know, if you look into it, there's always been a bunch of Jathebandi. There's always been a bunch of different groups of Sikhs that did things differently, but they worked together
Yeah.
They appreciated each other. They didn't fight. And now we think that we're trying to homogenize Sikhism into one way.
Sure.
And it's never been one way. And if we keep thinking like that, we're just going to tear each other down, and it's not helping. It's not going to work. You're never going to homogenize all Sikhs to think the same way and do the same thing. So those are some of my thoughts on it, and I hope that the kind of those Qatar people, they just relax a little bit.
Sure. And we've also got to appreciate, I think, so that if we look, as the elders used to say, all the five fingers are never the same. Everybody cannot be the same, but everybody is doing. You look in the United Kingdom now. The governments are looking how the Sikh community goes out and feeds the homeless. The superpowers, the Western world, and everybody, are looking at that. Yeah. What is that? They're already doing the same what Guru Nanak Dev Ji Pasha has taught us to do, seva. Nothing different.
Yeah.
But it's helping, and when you're helping the homeless, you're not helping one community, you're helping the whole community. And you must have heard so many times, we see Guru Ram Das, Harmandir Sahib is open to all with the 4 darwaje.
Yeah.
There was no that only Sikhs can go into Harmandir Sahib and only their ardas can be done.
Yeah, that's
When
right.
the ardas is being done, the prayers are for everyone. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. It's ardas for every community who is there. Sarbat da Pala.
Yeah.
But we, as a community, always, we have strengths and weaknesses, which I believe, but the strengths are more. We should always promote what we do, a lot of things as Sikhs, which is in our blood, which is in our nature, the seva, the satkar, the pyar, and the sangat, the sharda. You look at the sangat, how much sharda they have. You look at the projects, you look at the car sevas, you look at the car seva of the Sarovar in Harmandir Sahib, which they were saying it was going to take 2 weeks, done in a day.
Yeah, that's right.
How is that done? That is the blessings of our gurus. That's the blessing into Sikhism, that it is in your blood. Seva Simran is in your blood to do. And the more you do it, the more anand you get, the more self-satisfaction we get, and the more we want to do it.
Yeah.
Yoga is another thing which you've been very much involved with. Health, as Sikhs, we need to look after our health as well, because with all these daily diseases which cause a lot of problem. If you can just share some of your thoughts on the yoga.
Yoga and health, yeah. That's something that we are going to focus more on in SikhNet. We've already started the health and nutrition and everything, health and wellness section of SikhNet. If you go to a lot of gurdwaras, you'll notice the diet is not a healthy diet. And I think some of the dietary ideas from the Sikh community are outdated, because we've got to realize that, okay, if we eat a lot of roti, for example, we've got to realize that roti 300 years ago was one thing, now it's a different thing. The wheat is different. They did not have processed flour back then. They didn't have unorganic, genetically modified wheat germs back then. So the food is a completely different thing. Now we have to be really careful. We have to re-evaluate what is healthy, what is a healthy diet.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to an old school Punjabi person, they'll say, "Paronta khao," healthy bano,
Cake khao.
And now you have too much gluten. You start getting gluten allergies and obesity, overweight, and we're seeing it in little kids now. There's little kids that are getting obese, they're getting overweight. I see them in the camps. So we've got to really, I think the Sikh community has to start taking health a lot more seriously, because your body is connected to your mind.
Sure.
Your mind is connected to your soul.
Yeah.
This is a trinity of things that are connected. And we can't just say, oh, we're part paro, and then eat whatever you want.
Sure.
They're connected. Your diet will affect how deeply you can meditate. and how deeply you meditate will affect your diet. It goes back and forth.
Sure.
Right? If you try this, if you do a lot of pot, a lot of simran, or do a sahaj pot or something, your appetite will go down. You'll get so much energy from the body, your appetite will go down. You say, oh, I don't want it, I can't, you know? It's a very deep subject. We could go into a lot of it.
Sure.
And honestly speaking, I don't think I'm that healthy of a person. You know, I like my sugar. I like certain things, and you know, I like to junk out and everything, just like everybody else.
Sure.
But you know, I do try sometimes to do it in moderation and to say no once in a while. And I think we should start with the camps. We should start with the gurdwaras. We should start with the langars.
Sure.
Try to make them healthier.
Okay. Yeah.
Healthier decisions. We've got to get out of this mentality that we're trying to impress people. You know, oh, I'm going to sponsor the langar. I'm going to do pakoras. I'm going to do saag. I'm going to do it up and make a big thing, and everyone's going to say, "Wow, look what he did." You know, this is all ego. What we need to do is think, what can I serve that will be healthy for the bodies of the sang, their bodies, you know, the sarir, and not good for their mind and good for the entertainment of it. It's not a show.
Sure.
You know, and if you look in Amritsar, the langar is very simple. It's dal roti. Very simple.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have matiyai at the end. They don't have kheer all the time.
Yeah.
You know, some gurdwaras is very historical, like Gondwal, they have kheer, right?
Sure.
But in general, I think langar should be very simple and very healthy.
Sure.
Less ghee, less sugar, less fried things, less of all that. So we can do that at home. Let's go to the gurdwara, let's be healthy.
Sure.
And we don't come to the gurdwara for food.
Sure.
We don't come there to get sugary drinks and ice cream and desserts. That's not why we should be coming. If that's why you're coming to the gurdwara, something is wrong here. Sure. Right? We should be coming to the gurdwara for the darshan of the Guru.
Sure.
Because we can't live without that food, that food of the soul.
Definitely.
We should be coming for that food, not for the unhealthy food that disturbs your body.
Sure.
You know.
Mujur Singh, I think so we're running out of time.
Okay.
I would like to thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart for sharing your thoughts, your views, and thanking you from behalf of the Sangat and Sangatari for the excellent work SikhNet is doing, and may Waheguru bless you. You do more and more seva for our community, for our generations, with the new way as we go forward in this century with technology, and may Waheguru bless you all in this mission. Before we finish, your comment, last few words.
We're just trying to do our seva, and you know, everything is Maharaj Kirpa. We are doing Maharaj Kirpa. Our viewers are doing Maharaj Kirpa. We're all part of an organism that is the unity of human consciousness. So everyone's just playing their role, and we are all blessed to be playing our role.
Let's take again then. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.